Afghanistan have registered their biggest ever win at the ICC ODI World Cup. The Hashmatullah Shahidi-led side have defeated the defending champions England to pull the first big upset of this ICC ODI World Cup. Hello and welcome. You have tuned into WION World of Cricket. I am Nikhil Mathur and I'm joined by 1996 World Cup winner Dav Watmore. Dav, we were discussing that there have been 12 matches and there have not been a single upset. And Afghanistan, the bottom place side, have pulled it off against defending champions. Explain it to our viewers, the magnitude of this win.
Well, it was just an emphatic victory in the end and a wonderful, wonderful performance by the Afghanistanis. And they went about their bowling effort by bowling well. Simple as that. They didn't do anything smart, anything outrageous. They just disciplined bowling. And with the quality of the spinners, and the wicket did hold up a little bit. Then the dew didn't seem to come as much either. I didn't see too much of the fielders wiping the ball. It was just a superb effort, and I'm very pleased for them because they were the better team on the night, no question.
Yeah, and this is only their second victory at the World Cup. The only team before this they have defeated was Scotland. And now to defeat England, the world champions, and the famed batting lineup. They were the favourites before the tournament began, and they battle number 10. You have Johnny Bairstow, Liam Livingstone, David Malan, Joe Root, match winners. And as you said, the Afghanistanis kept it tight. There weren't many loose balls, and I think all of them picked up wickets. The main bowlers, 2 wickets, 3 wickets.
Yeah, they did. We have the wickets that was spread out actually, but Mujib to me was the one. But this Afghanistan team, I was just thinking, they haven't got a home. They don't play at home.
Yeah,
yeah, they can't play at home, so they're eternally roaming around, playing their opposition either in the UAE or away. So it was just a wonderful performance, and it was a big, big scalp today. But Mujib, for me, was the one who shone through.
You did say that the pitch got a bit easier for the bowlers, but I think they stuck to decent lines, and it looked like a different track. Because do you think that the English batters didn't apply themselves? Were they too in a hurry?
Not really. Look, I felt that the wicket was still very good for batting. Please don't get me wrong. It's just the odd one just stuck in the wicket a little bit, but it was very good batting track, and really, a class side like England should have chased that down, but they weren't allowed to chase that down. More than that, it was because of the good, consistent bowling. There weren't too many, half trackers and wide deliveries. Plus the fact England bowled an extra 1.5 overs, 9 extras, including 3 no balls, three free hits. And I'm not sure exactly what the extras here, but at one point, not long ago, it was only 3 or 4. Anyway, it was half the amount of. It might sound a little trivial, but it makes a difference in the end too. And that was a reflection of how they bowled. They bowled rubbish, to be honest, in the first 10 and the last 10.
Yeah, we have the scorecard here. Rashid Khan, 3 for 37. Right. Mujibur Rahman, your pick of the bowler, 3 for 51. Mohammad Nabi, 2 for 16. Yes. Those are impressive figures and at a decent economy rate as well. And Naveen ul Haq, I remember him getting that wicket. His ball just came in and took the off stump. Josh Butler, interesting, crucial wicket there. And a word on Harry Brook. I mean, when he was batting, I thought, he was England's last hope. If he would have stayed till the end, he would have taken them home. But a disappointing performance to say the least.
Harry Brook needed somebody to stay with him. That was the problem. He lost, I think, 3 or 4 batsmen, partners, while he was there. Yeah. So, he tried hard. But such is the quality of the bowling he was facing. Eventually, even he went, And he played a fairly responsible knock today. If there was 1 or 2 others who could do that. You
said 1 or 2 others who could do that. There was this guy sitting in the dugout. His name is Ben Stokes. I think England look a shadow of themselves without the Superman, Ben Stokes.
Yeah, look, I know he had a hip injury, but it'd be nice to get updates from their team because everyone's expecting him to play. And, he's a pretty important player for their team. And I just hope they weren't thinking, oh, it's only Afghanistan. We'll give him another game off. I hope not, because you just never know what will happen, and it did happen tonight.
Yeah, and the couple of weaklings in England's performance was Sam Curran not doing it with the bat and the ball, and we discussed Chris Woakes. You know, your opening bowler going for 4 overs, 40 runs. I mean, England do have to look at some of their players. I think. Do you think there will be a massive overhaul in the next match, Chris Woakes, Sam Curran, or do you think they will just stick to this 11 and wait for Ben Stokes to come in?
Look, Woakes is the one that's in the hot seat, really. I mean, he's had 3 games and his performances are well below his lofty standards. So I think they'll be looking for somebody to, replace him. Sam Curran also. I mean, Woakes' first ball, 5 wides.
Yeah.
That's just not on. That's set the tone. Often, you might say, it's only 1 ball, but it sets the tone. Sam Curran comes on and he bowls, some ordinary deliveries as well. And then they were asked to come again and bowl in the end. Couldn't do it, Mujib. That 28 or something he got in just a handful of balls.
Yeah.
That was also a bit of a turning point. That allowed that total to come up to 280 odd,
Interesting point, because in the earlier matches as well, Afghanistan always had that partnership. Shahidi had that partnership with Azmatullah. But as you said, they were missing the flourish towards the end, with Mujib and Rashid did well. Do you think that's the difference between, if this was a 250 odd total, I think England would have chased it. But that flourish towards the end, Mujib contributing with the bat, Rashid contributing with the bat.
It makes a difference, Nikhil. It really does, because that just gives you a bit more of a psychological advantage. And this guy, I just also felt that England, I could be wrong. It's only Afghanistan. We know it's going to get easier under lights.
Yeah.
We know the dew's going to come in. We know we've got a big, long batting lineup. We'll beat them. It doesn't matter. It does matter. You just never know, and it happened tonight.
Do you think they got a bit overconfident, saying, we bat till number 10, it's the bottom place side? Did they take things for granted?
It looks like that, it looks like that, but I tell you, to win games, not often do you have a really bad first half and then we'll make up for it in the second. Yes, that happens every now and again, but you've got to have some good contribution in both areas. When you bowl and field, you've got to really, do your job, because then it makes it a little bit easier for the batsman chasing a score. If you're batting first, do your job and get a decent total so the bowlers can then have something to bowl at.
Yeah.
Today, clearly they gave them too many runs because of carelessness and lack of responsibility on occasion, the first 10 and the last 10. That resulted in 280, which was beyond them.
With this result, do you think it's one of the most open World Cups? Because Australia, Sri Lanka haven't won anything. They are yet to win a single match. Now with England losing 2 matches and Afghanistan getting 2 points, a very crucial 2 points, do you think it's the most open World Cup now?
I reckon it's a lot open now than it was even a week ago, So a lot of judges would have said, look, Australia, great record in the World Cup matches. England team is really strong with Stokes in it as well. These 2 guys, the 2 teams, one team hasn't won a game yet and they're playing tomorrow.
Yeah.
And England, the defending champions, only won 1 game.
Yeah.
So I reckon it is open, Teams like New Zealand and South Africa and India, of course, they look like they're playing the required standard to figure at the end of this round robin.
And going forward, will this going to be the template for Afghanistan? You get those crucial partnerships. One of the batters always stand up. Like today, it was Rahmatullah Gurbaz who stood up and then post something around 250, 280 because they've got a good spin attack. Rashid Khan, Mujib, and then Nabi chipping in with those, and Naveen ul Haq with those deliveries.
Surely, I would think the teams that are yet to play Afghanistan will really be a little more worried now than what they would have been, say, a couple of days ago. So here you have, I did say the top 4 good players, and the top 4 did made their contributions. Gurbaz obviously with the main one, and unlucky not to get 100 when he was run out.
That run out.
Yeah, so if these guys can get sufficient runs, it's going to be interesting. with them bowling second because of their spin attack, and their bowling attack's getting better.
Yeah. We have seen a lot of upsets, and you have been a part of a lot of upsets. All the Indians would remember when you were the coach of Bangladesh in 2007, that upset. Where do you rate this upset? And talk us about the upset that you have been part of. Bangladesh, I remember one.
Does this rate as big as this one against England? Well, they're both pretty important wins. This was our first. That was in 2003. That was the first. 2007 rather, in West Indies. That was the first game of the tournament, and we prevailed over a very strong Indian team. And I felt that we had the better of the conditions simply because we were asked to bat second, where the wicket just flattens out. So we got a little lucky on that. We lost the toss, but Dravid said we'll bat, and that's good. They still got over 200. I can't remember exactly what it was, but the Bangladeshis, had a confident approach because we knew that wicket was going to get better, and we did it. That was a big result for us, for the Bangladeshis. And India didn't start that tournament off well at all, so that was only the start, and they had a chance, but they lost again to Sri Lanka, which put them out of the Super 8s.
Yeah. Before we have a look at the points table, let me take a few questions from a segment called No More with What More. And our sports editor has put in the first comment. He's back from Ahmedabad. He says, saw England struggle against New Zealand. And now again, are you spotting a pattern there, Dav? A bit slow coming onto the bat, and England don't know how to adjust. You think, considering their go-to-hell approach, how do you respond to that?
The baseball, the attacking mode. I didn't see too much attacking today, though. Well, nice question, Diggy. And yes, there is a small trend with these wickets holding up a touch, but I didn't see too much, all-out aggression today, except for the last couple of bowlers who came and batted and threw the bat, and they did it with some success, I have to say. There could be a little trend happening. I think they need to have a little rethink of how they play the spin, because it wasn't that hard to play. It's just the quality of the spinners made it a little bit difficult.
Anand asks, in every World Cup we can expect at least one upset like this. Netherlands versus Australia can be the next big upset that we can see in Delhi.
In Delhi?
In Delhi. I think it's the Delhi height. Netherlands versus Australia in Delhi. So he's saying, can Netherlands upset Australia?
Look, on this evidence, surely, England was a very big... They're defending champions. Australia's not. Australia haven't got that great a spin attack, as we've seen. Zampa is horribly out of form. They're relying on Glenn Maxwell to do the business for them. So if they do have a bad day out with the bat, are they going to protect the score? I don't know. I don't think so.
Kunal has made an interesting point there. He says, does IPL experience is helping Afghanistan spinner to play well in this match?
Well, yes, but I think quality will come through anyway. But the fact that there's a couple of those guys who have played in the IPL for quite a while, you just get used to conditions a little bit more, than if you're not playing IPL. So yes, it does help, but to what degree, if compared to a local Indian cricketer, still not the same. But they feel a little bit more at ease. And let's face it, some of the England guys have played in the IPL too. And they're on the losing side. Yeah.
Ninjan has asked the question. His question is similar to what Digvijay asked. He's saying, how will England regroup from this, and the disregard that they have shown by playing the attacking game and the baseball? How do you think they're going to regroup and bounce back from this?
Well, that's what matters now, doesn't it? How you respond to, a performance like this. Again, it has to be some, truthful discussion, truthful communication to understand what was done and what needs to be done. So it's a case again of not quite responding with the same toughness as what they were receiving with the ball, with these batters. And sometimes, momentum that we talked about, momentum might shift a little early, and sometimes you've got to wait longer to get momentum in your favour. It didn't happen. They just weren't prepared to fight that little bit longer to ensure that momentum changes. But that was a relentless attack today.
We spoke about how this can be the most open World Cup. Let's have a look at the points table, but if I'm not wrong, the defending, the record 5-time champions, Australia at number 10.
Yeah.
Who would have expected that?
Yeah, on net run rate, no points at this stage. Have a chance tomorrow to get on the board. No points to Sri Lanka too. Netherlands, well, that's not a huge surprise. But certainly Afghanistan
now climb up to number 6.
Yeah, that's right. And really, they could nick a couple more.
Yeah.
In this tournament for sure.
So I think if you have a look at this points table, I think India, New Zealand, and South Africa are the most informed teams in the tournament right now.
Yeah.
Of course, it's early stage, but you think that these three will more or less seal the semi-final berths, and then for the 4th spot, maybe Pakistan, England, Afghanistan, and maybe Australia.
Yeah, look, the top 3, I think, are playing the sort of cricket that that's expected if you're going to play in the semi-finals. Certainly, India's playing like a team that can win the damn thing. Yeah. New Zealand also are pretty good, although they had another setback with their captain. But I believe with a lot of effort from the physios, a lot of treatment, he could be playing in the last 1 or 2 games of this tournament. Let's hope so for his sake. He's a very good player. But yeah, those 3 are playing like they really mean it, like they're really up for the challenge, and they want to be in that last semi-final game.
Speaking of injuries, Dasun Shanaka is also out for Sri Lanka, and they also have an injury hit squad. So do you think Sri Lanka, it's going to be very difficult for them to qualify for the semi-finals?
Surely it is, because their attack is not even close to their main attack. So maybe there's only 1 or 2 bowlers who would probably get into their main attack. So they're playing with a second string.
Yeah.
Hard to see them, getting into the semi-final. I don't think they will at all. No.
But I think I think England definitely need Ben Stokes if they want to be in the semi-finals. How important is a player like Ben Stokes, especially in conditions like this, when you have lost a lot of wickets in the beginning. Harry Brook was there, but they needed a player that they can bat around, and usually Ben Stokes is the man who says, he puts up his hand in difficult situations and bail them out on most of the occasions. Or do England need another Ben Stokes? Of course, they can never be another Ben Stokes, but someone like him who can, Harry Brook showed that today. Yeah,
but if Ben Stokes was fit, Harry Brook doesn't play. Livingston plays because he chips in with the ball, because your other spinner is not in the team. But he might do next game because Wokes, I can't see him playing. But certainly, like Stokesy came into that team and displaced, other very good players who were looking to play in that, in the final selection. And he came into that team without having played anything for months. So that's how highly regarded he is with the England selectors and the English team. So he is important. Hip injury, it'd be nice to get an update. That's all I'm saying, like very important player, then he doesn't play and you lose the game. I'm not saying that's the reason, but it'd be nice if you played your best team as often as you possibly can.
Okay, we have a few more comments. How do England reset? They have the personnel. Why are they suddenly back to playing the timid cricket of 2015? No baseball on display?
No, there wasn't. They looked like they were a little nervous at times, a little unsure. Also, that thinking of, gee, 4 down, if I get out, it'll be 5 down, I can't get out. Harry Brook is one of those, I reckon. He did a good job getting his 66. But a normal Harry Brook would have hit more. A normal Harry Brook. Maybe because of the situation, he went into his shell. So, you're right. I mean, they were a little timid in their overall approach, caused by the early wickets and the very good pace attack. And spin attack, rather, of the Afghanistanis.
Have Afghanistan exposed England's weakness against spin? Because I was just looking at the stats in the previous two matches. Against Bangladesh also, the spinners took a lot of wickets. In the match against New Zealand as well, Glenn Phillips, who is not a regular bowler, he picked up wickets, and Rachin got a wicket.
Santner did too.
Santner did really well. So is this something of a weak point for England? They're not able to negotiate the spin well, especially.
It's looking that way, yeah. It's looking that way. I know they've come to India over recent tours also. They struggled a bit, with spin. So it could be. And will pitches continue to turn? With the longer this goes in the tournament, I think more the chances of it turning.
We discussed upon the upsets that we have seen at the World Cups, and you said about the Bangladesh upset. But where do you rate this upset? We have a list, for Indians, that India beating West Indies in the 1983 World Cup remains at the top. What are your favourites upsets at the World Cup?
We lost to Kenya. Kenya beat us. It's Sri Lanka in the same year, 2003. And I remember going into that game thinking, we should account for Kenya, and I think it was played in Zimbabwe or Kenya. Well, it might have been Kenya's home ground, and we batted first and we batted second. Had to chase not that great a target either, but the wicket really slowed up. It was harder to play, and they had a couple of good spinners who made it difficult for us, and we lost the match. We still made the semi-final, but we weren't batting that well. And Kenya, who everyone thought, was, we should have won. In fact, they embarrassed a couple of teams, because I think they played in the semi-final against India. 2003.
I still remember Steve Ticcolo's side. They were lucky, but they did play some good brand of cricket. Yeah. I think Ravindu Shah was their opener. Yeah. These are the upsets that you remember. But Dav, you have... Yeah.
What about Ireland?
Yeah,
beating England
in 2011.
A huge score, right? 300 and plenty.
Yeah.
So that figures pretty high up too, I would have thought.
Yeah, we have a few of those upsets here. We have made a list. Zimbabwe beating South Africa in 1999. Again, at the 90s, Zimbabwe was a different team. They could upset anyone on their day.
That wasn't a bad team at all, yeah.
Yeah, and of course you were the coach of Bangladesh when
2007
when they defeated India. So, yeah. And Ireland, as we were speaking about, 300 they made, and then again Pakistan. Ireland, a couple of them. Then England, 2011 World Cup.
Yeah, there's some big upsets there, for sure. And this one, I reckon, would be also, up there as well.
Where do you rate this upset in this list?
Well, 2023, that'll be right at the top.
That's a cheeky one. That's a smart one there. Yeah, but what? Since you're the coach, if you are in the place of Matthew Mott, you are expected to beat Afghanistan, but you have lost, and you have lost comprehensively. It wasn't a nail-biting finish. What is the atmosphere like? And when the chips are down, what is the role of the coach? What's the team talk after the match?
I can guarantee you it'll be quiet. It wouldn't be noisy at all. Be very quiet, and people are sad for themselves or sorry for themselves. And some of them won't know what to do with themselves. They cannot leave that dressing room unless there's a chat, and it's not a long chat. It'll be from the coach about the game and not how bad, but a pretty honest summary. You wouldn't go into it deep. It's just an honest summary to allow the players to begin to get better. So, but there'll be more reviews. Don't get me wrong, but I think the coach will definitely, or should anyway, sit them down, and before they leave that dressing room to get on the bus, say a few words to not have a go at them, but to be honest. But then at the end, to buck them up again, to build them up, say, come on, we need to quickly get back on the winning list. And because there's still another 6 games to go, right?
Yeah.
So maybe a little bit too early to really give them bamboo, but surely if that continues to happen, that should happen. But it's definitely a few words from the coach to to tell it the way it is, and then build them up before they get in the bus.
You know, losing the 2 matches in your first 3 matches, no one expected England to do that. How do you retain the belief? You know, will we see like a chop and change like we saw, like Pakistan, Fakhar Zaman was out and Abdullah Shafiq got in. Australia, they replaced Carey and got in English. What would England do to get that belief back, the world champion belief back?
Well, when you have performances like this, nobody can really get upset with changes to the team. You know, particularly with Stokes around, he has got to come in. Now they've got to decide who goes out for Stokes.
Yeah.
You know, Brook got runs. That's also an interesting debate for other people to have. But then, you know, a guy like Chris Wokes, good player, not up to it at the moment. His form's down. So yes, I see a change or two for sure, because you cannot be rewarding, you know, performances like that. Players can't be angry at you know, being omitted after performances. 2 out of 3 losing.
Yeah. You know, I was just thinking when you said, I said, hey, Ben Stokes could easily replace Chris Wokes, but then I remembered he cannot bowl. He can't bowl. And with this performance, I don't think you will be able to drop Harry Brook. So I think England, what do you think?
They may go
and
with
Moeen
3
Ali is
quicks.
also waiting outside.
Yeah, but they just may go with 3 quicks instead of 4, right? They had 4 today, didn't they? Topley, Wokes, Mark Wood, and who was the other one?
Mark Wood, they have Reece Topley, they have Gus Atkinson on the bench.
Yeah, and Wood, Topley, Sam Curran, right? So they had 4 fast bowlers. They may just go with 3 and 2 spinners.
So you reckon Moeen and Ben Stokes in the 11?
No, I'm saying Stokes in the 11 and another bowler to maybe even Ali, Moeen Ali.
So who do they replace? Who do they replace?
Wokes out.
Wokes and?
Wokes.
Livingston?
Not after that bowling performance. Maybe just the one.
Okay.
One of the fast bowlers out.
Yeah.
And Stokes in.
Okay. Well.
Maybe.
Yeah. So they have Australia, Netherlands, and Pakistan next. Difficult. I mean, Netherlands is an easy match, but England and Pakistan.
Yeah, all games now, you know, you can't take them lightly. Perhaps except for the Netherlands, but we don't take anyone lightly. But on the surface, you'd say they should win that one. Yeah. But the other 2, they'll be fighting. They all want to win and get points.
You know, I think I would agree with you that they need to make changes. And for me, I think Sam Curran, as I pointed out in the beginning, that he hasn't been doing great with the ball or with the bat. And I think Moeen Ali, he did well. He understands the conditions and usually subcontinental wicket. I think Moeen Ali and Ben Stokes would, and of course, no one doubted this England side. They have quality players, but they need to get the combination right as well to retain that belief.
Combination plus, you know, playing better on these conditions.
Yeah. And exactly, the next fixtures for England, it's South Africa, Sri Lanka and India. So difficult matches for England. The next matches for England are South Africa, Sri Lanka and host India.
It's going to be tough. I think they'll beat Sri Lanka because of their lack of bowling. They haven't got the sort of spinners that Afghanistan's got, so I expect them to win that. But I tell the other 2, 5 games, 2 wins. Could be a real problem. They'll miss out.
I think as we saw on that points table, I think England, South Africa, New Zealand seems to be the 3 teams that would make it to the semi-final first. And for the 4th spot between Pakistan, England and Australia, it's going to be a cracker of a World Cup.
Bring on. Just wind the clock forward or get that crystal ball. Let's see. Yeah,
we have a few more comments. Should Butler be sacked from captaincy? He has brought disgrace to his nation. He's not an aggressive captain. He doesn't know even the tidbits of captaincy. I mean, that's a very harsh comment coming in. But did you find any mistakes in Butler's captaincy, the way he rotated the bowlers, or the approach in anything in particular?
It's difficult, you know. Like, do you blame the captain for? He doesn't bowl the ball. You know, he may make a mistake in bowling changes, but he brings the bowler on, in good faith to respond to certain situations, and the bowler lets him down. The bowler does well. He looks good, I suppose, but look, no, I think they're a bit harsh on him. They're the reigning champions. They've done really well of recent times as well. So easy to point the finger,
Yeah. But I think we've spoken a lot about England, but I think the day belongs to Afghanistan. And we have a comment from Ankita saying it's a historic moment in Delhi. After 15 games, Afghanistan have secured the first World Cup victory. Well, this is the second victory. This is a moment of immense pride for Afghanistan cricket. They overcame the defending champions England with a 69-run win. I think Afghanistan, as you said, I think this is not the only upset that they will pull. I think they will pull a few more. They are expected to win against Netherlands, but I think an injury hit Sri Lankan side or even Bangladesh.
Yeah, surely. Look, they already played Bangladesh, didn't they?
Oh yeah, they played.
Yeah, they lost.
Yeah.
I can see them nicking another one or two more wins in this tournament, which will be a wonderful, wonderful tournament for them. They've come and they've improved slowly, and they could do it. They could just nick another one or two.
There are more comments for Afghanistan. Praveen says, well played Afghanistan. Terrific win against defending champions. England pacers traditionally struggle outside English conditions, and batters struggle against quality spin bowling. Difficult road ahead of England?
How many teams they play have got 3 spinners like that?
Yeah.
I don't think so. But nevertheless, they still need to, they'll be playing good attacks.
Yeah.
They won't have 3, full-on a finger spinner, a mystery spinner and a leg spinner, but they'll have very good attacks like from South Africa and New Zealand to negotiate. And, time will tell. But, yeah, it looks as though they'll be struggling, particularly if it's a slower wicket.
We have been getting a lot of comments about the greatest upsets in the ODI World Cup. I just want to producers to pull that graphics back and rate us your best 5 upsets in those, and including this one as well.
Well, come on. I wouldn't put...
this is year-wise. You can pick your 5.
Yeah. Sri Lanka beat India in 1979. That was a pretty important one. India beat West Indies, as that's in the World Cup.
Does that feature in your top 5? Mighty West Indies.
Yeah, well, they didn't have a very good side. Yeah, look, all those are big upsets. Maybe, except for maybe Zimbabwe, beating England in 92. It wasn't 99, 92. Yeah, look, I tell you, I think this one will fit in somewhere in the middle, I would think. But the way it is there, how can you split straws? They're all big upsets to me.
There's another play to it, which has a few more. If I just...
Oh, come on, you pick it.
For me, as an Indian, India beating West Indies, and then again, I mean, the Ireland one was a pretty massive. The one that happened
Ireland,
in 2011.
England, yeah.
And of course, I don't
Bangalore.
rate it as highly. The Bangladesh beating India, breaking the hearts of 1.3 billion. I think that is one of the big upsets that I think.
Yeah, it was pretty huge, really. When you put both teams side by side, jeepers, I think Tendulkar played. Yeah, Tendulkar's games played was just about the total of Bangladesh.
Yeah.
A couple of those players. So, huge difference in experience and quality, but they did it.
Yeah. So that's it in this edition of WION World of Cricket. Stay tuned. We'll be building up to Australia versus Sri Lanka, the match that is there tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in.